back with you live from the LinkedIn Hub right here at the Times Center in Midtown Manhattan. I was going to say downtown because you were just telling me downtown. on day 4 of Advertising Week, and I am sitting with Philipp Tsipman, who is the VP of Connected ID at MediaMath, correct?
Thank you for having me.
Whose office is downtown, and that's why I messed up.
You got it.
Well, so Philipp, I want to talk a little bit about kind of the future of content has been a big thing for us. It's a big theme. Everybody's trying to figure out what is the content that's going to really be able to be relevant to consumers now across different channels and across different devices. So let's start by kind of jumping into that, because I think that everybody is seeking to engage people rather than send messages at them now.
Yeah, so first of all, for folks who don't know, so MediaMath is a leading DSP and a data management platform. So we operate in about 100 countries, and we are the programmatic execution platform for a lot of agencies and big brands. And when we look at this, I think 2016 is really exciting, because even if you looked at last year, right? It was a lot of hype about cross-device. Everybody's been talking about it for a while, but it's finally becoming real, right? And when that becomes real, all of a sudden you can do more with your marketing, and all of a sudden you can actually tell that story that you're no longer in a silo where, you know, on desktop you're over here, on mobile you're somewhere totally different, socially you got something else. You can actually bring it all together, and that ultimately makes it much more powerful.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about, I mean, how do you think people are really able to achieve that? I mean, we're talking about making sure that the consumer has a connected experience across their different devices through their different things. So how do you think that, what are some of the main key points to be thinking about in terms of the content and in terms of what we're doing across the different devices and platforms?
So some of it is actually very simple, right? So all of a sudden, you actually have the technology to bring this all together. So it's not like you didn't have a good story idea, you just didn't have a solution to execute on it before, right? So that's real and that's new. But you know, if you're a little bit smarter, then now you can actually look at the data, you can look at your path that the consumer is taking to then be able to purchase your product, and you can actually see, well, here is the journey and here's how we can plan around it. So maybe if you're a retailer, you're looking at specific locations that you have and actually telling people about the product that's at that location, at that store, not kind of in the olden days where you would run kind of a big TV buy and sort of just spray and pray, thinking that 3% of your audience is actually going to be interested in that. You can be a lot more targeted, and that's great.
So what do you think? I mean, if we had to kind of quantify, where do you think brands and marketers have really been able to achieve the relevance this year specifically, just in this past year?
Yeah, so funny enough, I think it actually starts with mobile, and it's amazing to what extent mobile is just getting solved for, right?
Right.
And I started in mobile in 2007, right? So we've kind of seen a whole evolution here. And first mobile was like 5%, 10%, 15%. Now mobile is 60% of the media. So that is where most advertisers, most brands are still discovering this, right? And they're updating their websites and actually making those mobile first, and they're updating the experience to take advantage of location and to take advantage of this omni-channel story that they've never done before.
So where do you think brands are going? I mean, for 2017, I mean, where do you think they are able to really, or how do you think they're going to really be able to kind of tell those great stories to achieve a higher level of engagement?
So I think you're moving in from sort of this idea where, okay, we've talked about this for a long time, this is a lot of hype, now we have technology, now we can actually start executing on this marketing. And the next step is actually driving a lot of insights from that and driving a lot of good measurement from that. So for you to be able to bring it all the way back to say, okay, so I have this consumer that's coming to my website, and kind of I've seen them in this one place, and they showed up and they are kind of searching for something on a Tuesday afternoon, then I can actually look at all of their behavior and say, well, they also have a Samsung phone, and they also have an iPad, and they're doing these other behaviors on those. So let me actually learn something from that and be surprised by that. So they might be kind of on a tech site and about to buy a laptop. Well, the more you know about them from what else that they are doing in other environments and other devices, the smarter you are and the better you can craft a story.
Wonderful. Phil, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of Advertising Week. There's not all that much left, but I hope you still get to enjoy
Thank you so much.
what's left. And
it's been really fun.
yeah, and I hope we get to sit down next year and you can tell us more about what's kind of happened over this past year in all of this. And I hope we're all able to achieve that kind of relevance.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
We'll be back with more interviews right here from the LinkedIn Hub at Advertising Week 13.